By the time I met Raya Delacroix, I already knew her before I knew her. Her face was on perfume ads, billboards, streaming thumbnails. She was the woman the world adored in 4K and slow motion. Every red carpet, every talk show, every candid paparazzi shot that somehow still looked perfect. To me, she was just background, part of the noise, a reminder that people like her existed in a world I would never touch. Until I got the job. Personal assistant to a high-profile actress, the agency brief said. Discretion required. Insane pay. No set schedule. I should have known. When the door to her penthouse opened, the first thing that hit me wasn't her fame. It was the silence. No music. No laughter. Just the hum of air conditioning and a city held outside by triple glazed glass. Raya stood there barefoot, in leggings and an oversized sweater, her hair in a messy bun. No red lipstick, no smoky eyes. Just a tired woman in her early 30s with dark circles and a strangely gentle gaze. "You're late," she said softly. Not cruel, just factual. The elevator." She lifted a hand. "Relax. I just wanted to see if you'd apologized or make an excuse." I stared at her, thrown. "And?" I asked, carefully. Her lips curved. "You apologized. Good. I hate excuses." She turned and padded across the marble floor. I stepped in and closed the door behind me, feeling like I'd crossed into a different planet. "I'm Lena," I offered. "I know," she said. "They sent your file. Psychology graduate, dropped out after a family situation, worked 3 jobs, no industry experience. Interesting choice for a celebrity assistant." "Is that a bad thing?" She looked over her shoulder at me. "No," she said. "It means you're probably not here for selfies." The job was chaos wrapped in luxury. My days were a blur of schedules, contracts, flights, fittings, vitamin shots, PR calls, and quietly removing the wine glass from her hand when her eyes looked a little too empty. She had a team for everything: hair, makeup, styling, PR, social media. But somehow, I was the one who ended up closest to her, because I was the only one who stayed when the cameras were off. The way her hands shook before every interview, how she stared at herself in the mirror for a full minute before stepping onto the red carpet, like she was putting on a costume that didn't quite fit. The way she sometimes asked, "Do I look like myself?" in a tone that wasn't really about contour. "You look like Raya Delacroix," I'd say. She'd smirk. "Yeah, and is that a person or a product today?" One night, after a 14-hour press day and a premiere, I found her sitting on the bathroom floor in a designer dress, heels abandoned, makeup smudged. The glitter around her eyes had turned into something like bruised starlight. "Hey," I said softly, crouching down. She didn't look up. "Do you ever get tired of being on?" "I'm not the famous one," I said. She let out a short laugh that broke halfway. "Fame isn't the only performance, Lena." I sat next to her, not too close, not too far. "What are you performing?" I asked. She tilted her head back against the cabinet. "Confidence, desire, edit-proof happiness. Take your pick." "Who for?" "Everyone," she said. "Public, press, agents, directors, exes, people who want to be seen with me more than they want to see me." "And me?" I asked quietly. "Do you perform for me?" She finally looked at me. Really looked. For a second, the actress vanished and the woman remained. "No," she said. "That's the problem." It started small. A lingering glance in the car ride home, her head resting on my shoulder for just a second too long between events. The way she'd say my name when the world quieted, like she needed to hear it to stay anchored. Lena. Yeah? Don't leave before I fall asleep tonight. Raya, I'm not your... She cut me off with a whisper. I know. I sleep better when I know someone real is here. Some nights, I sat in the chair in her room, scrolling my phone, pretending not to watch her breathe. Other nights, she'd talk until sleep grabbed her, about the first role that made her, the director who almost unmade her, the first girl she ever kissed in a drama club dressing room, the way scenes felt so different when the cameras cut and there was nothing left to hide behind. You ever been in love? She asked once, voice slurred with exhaustion and maybe a little whiskey. Yes, I said. How did you know? It felt like standing too close to a fire and wanting to stay anyway. She was quiet for a long time. That sounds nice, she said at last. It wasn't, I said truthfully. She didn't love me back. Raya's eyes opened. Idiot, she murmured. Me? No, her. Something in my chest stuttered. I should have left it there, but feelings aren't professional. They aren't scheduled. They don't care that you're on a payroll. And every time she looked at me like I was the only person in the room who could see the cracks in her, something inside me leaned closer. My job was to be her shelter, her buffer, her steady presence, her quiet anchor. I didn't realize that somewhere along the line, she had become my weakness. The first line we crossed was not a kiss. It was a choice. Her publicist called. An event, a gala, a networking thing full of executives, backers, and cameras. The kind of night where Raya wore a dress that could pay someone's rent for a year and smiled like nothing had ever hurt. She looked at the invitation on her phone and went very, very still. I don't want to go, she said. You don't have to, I said. Everyone says I do. I took the phone from her hand. I'm not everyone, I reminded her. She sank down onto the edge of the bed, jaw tight. If I say no, they'll call me difficult, ungrateful, emotional, unprofessional. She spat the words like poison. And then someone will suggest a younger girl who's easier. And if you say yes? I asked. She looked up. I betray myself a little bit more. Silence. The city glittered outside, oblivious. Then skip it, I said. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them guess. We'll order takeout, watch trash TV, and you can be a person tonight instead of a brand. She stared at me like I'd done something radical. You'd still stay? She asked quietly. I'm not here for the carpets, Raya. Her throat worked. Call them. Tell them I'm sick. Are you? Yes. Just not in a way they care about. That night became the kind of memory that rewrites others. She changed into sweats and a faded t-shirt that said, "Support indie film," probably worth more than my entire closet. I ordered dumplings and ice cream. She chose the worst reality show on the streaming menu. She laughed with her whole body, head thrown back, eyes crinkling, no cameras, no press, just us. At some point, she slid sideways on the couch until her legs touched mine. You know what I envy about you? She asked. I snorted. My very impressive collection of secondhand jeans? She smiled, but her eyes stayed serious. You can go outside without calculating how you're being seen. She traced patterns on the couch cushion. I don't even remember what that feels like. I watched her, the messy bun, the makeup-free face, the dark eyes that looked tired and too awake all at once. Right now, you're not being seen, I said softly. You're just here. Her gaze found mine. "Am I?" she asked. "Or am I still Raya Delacroix to you?" I paused. "You're Raya, but not the one on posters." "And which one do you prefer?" she asked, barely above a murmur. My heart tripped. This was a cliff edge, and I knew it. This one. Every time. Her breath hitched. The room shrank. The TV noise blurred. I became acutely aware of the inches between us, of how easy it would be to erase them. She licked her lips, nervous. I'd never seen her nervous in public. She always performed certainty there. But here... "Lena?" she whispered. "Yeah." "Do you ever wish you didn't work for me?" A pause. "So that wanting you didn't feel wrong?" It was my turn to break. "I already feel wrong," I confessed. "Every time you fall asleep on my shoulder, every time you grab my hand in the crowd, every time I have to pretend it means nothing." Her eyes shone. "You pretend?" she breathed. "I have to," I said, "because this is your life, your name, your career, and you're not just anything," she snapped, then softened. "You're the only one who tells me I'm allowed to say no. Do you know how rare that is?" My voice shook. "If I stop pretending, I might lose this. Lose you." She searched my face, like she was conducting a symphony of tiny muscles and unspoken words. "What if," she said slowly, "you stopped pretending, and I didn't let you lose me?" I didn't even realize I'd started crying until her thumb brushed a tear from my cheek. "Oh," she whispered, "you really do care." "Of course I care. You make it very difficult not to." She laughed, a small, broken sound, and then she did what I had been imagining for weeks and dreading in equal measure. She leaned in. It wasn't a dramatic movie kiss. There was no orchestral swell, no crashing rain. Just her breath mingling with mine, the faint taste of salt from my own tears, the soft press of her lips against mine like a question. I answered by kissing her back, slowly, carefully, reverently, as if touching something sacred. Her hand slid to the back of my neck, holding me there like she'd been waiting for an anchor. When we parted, her forehead rested against mine. "Now it's real," she whispered. "Now it's dangerous." "I know," I said. "Are you scared?" she asked. "Yes." "Are you going to leave?" "No." Her eyes closed in relief. "Then I'm scared too," she said. "But at least we're scared together." Of course, the world didn't let us keep it that simple. Rumors started when she started saying no more often, when she skipped events to stay home, when she laughed in candid photos with the mysterious woman always beside her. Offers came with undertones. "We want you for this role, but can you be more available? We love you, but maybe tone down the personal choices for now." She stared at those emails like they were old scripts she'd outgrown. "Do you regret it?" I asked one night when the pressure felt thick enough to choke on. "Do you regret what?" she asked. "Letting this happen. Letting us happen." She looked at me like the question itself hurt. "Do you?" she countered. "No," I said. "But I'd understand if..." She cut in. "I don't. I regret all the years I spent letting everyone else direct my life. I'm not adding you to that list." "But what if they..." "Then they do," she said. "And I'll find work elsewhere. I won't find you twice." It wasn't a grand speech. It was soft, tired, honest. That's how I knew she meant it. Some leaks came, stories, headlines trying to undo her. She lost a campaign, lost a role to someone more complicated, lost a few million followers. But she gained something they didn't measure. On a quiet afternoon months later, we sat on her balcony, hair in the wind, socks mismatched, sharing a bowl of grapes. She leaned her head on my shoulder, not as a secret, not as a weakness, but as something simple and ordinary. "You know what they don't understand?" she said. "What?" "They think you became my weakness." She smiled, small and real. "But I didn't." I frowned. "I didn't?" She turned to me, eyes soft. "You became the place I'm strongest," she said. "Because for the first time in my life, I don't have to pretend when I'm with you." Something inside me loosened. Old, hard knots I hadn't known were still there. "And you?" she asked. "Did I ruin your life?" I laughed softly. "You became my shelter," I said, "even when I was supposed to be yours." We sat there as the sun dipped, letting the world spin however it wanted. They could keep their narratives, their angles, their empty stories. We had our own. Not a perfect one, not an easy one, but a real one. She was a star to them. To me, she was just Raya, the woman who fell asleep on my shoulder, stole my fries, argued about movies, forgot where she left her earrings, and kissed me like I was the first honest thing that ever happened to her. She became my shelter, and somehow, beautifully, I became the one thing she refused to live without.